Welcome into After the Whistle. We're talking about the NBA playoffs today. I'm joined by Paul Hunter and my man, Austin Alexander. It's good for you two to be here. They are making their first appearance on the last show of After the Whistle. This show is sponsored by Ralph Polo Columbia and Under Armour, and we are the official talk show of the NBA. If you want to sponsor us, call us at 1-800-GIVE-US-MONEY. Okay, we're going to be jumping right into it here. Let's talk. We're going to start with ETSU baseball and softball, get a little bit of an update. Over the weekend, ETSU fell to Tulane in a series loss. They won on Friday night 9-1, but had a terrible day on Saturday. They lost 21-7 in Game 2 and 9-4 in Game 3.
2 touchdown losses.
Yeah, not good. So they fell to 19-17 overall, 5-7 in conference play. One of the highlights, though, Joe Panucci in his first season as ETSU's coach, is that they did pick up a series win against Tennessee. So, Paul, we're going to start with you. Just give us a little bit of analysis. Is Joe Panucci's first season, has it been a successful season? Is there stuff that he needs to work on? Just give us your analysis.
For what he has, it has been a successful season. But in the future, we do need pitching, and I think we all can agree on that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he's done solid. The tournament's coming up, so hopefully I can do pretty good in that.
Definitely. Austin, give us your analysis here.
You know, much like Paul, I agree with what he has. He's done a fairly decent job. The series win over Tennessee, that's always going to be something massive for ETSU. And, you know, it's something that I believe previous coaching staffs might not have been able to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Tony Skoll, before he left to go to the Citadel last year, you know, he pretty much had the same team. So definitely, it's nice to see ETSU, though. It still has a above 500 record. Still has an opportunity to go pretty far in the Southern Conference tournament. Moving on to softball. Softball has been really struggling as of late. They're sitting at 13-23. Got to keep in mind, last year they won the SoCon title and made it to the NCAA tournament. They've lost 9 in a row. They traveled to Knoxville last week and took on the 7th-ranked Volunteers, lost 11-3, and then they face USC Upstate on Thursday. ETSU faces Radford tomorrow. Softball, do they still have any chance to kind of really make it far in the NCAA or the SoCon tournament?
Well, I'll stop you before you can get off the ground there.
Yeah.
No, it's been a rough fall from grace for softball.
Yeah.
And I don't see it getting any better for at least a couple seasons till we get some more maturity in the system. Had a lot of seniors.
They're all young this year, right?
Yeah, they're a really young team.
Pretty young team.
Yeah, they graduated quite a few players. So, I mean, it is kind of a rebuilding season. So it's kind of frustrating, but hopefully they'll get back and maybe make some noise headed to the SoCon tournament. How about ETSU men's tennis? They won their 12th consecutive conference title last week, propelled them to the NCAA tournament for the 12th year in a row. Senior Sergi Fontcuberta won both singles and doubles matches. Robert Herrera won doubles match, and David Gonzalez also won singles and doubles. So tennis, I mean, they're rolling right now.
I got David Gonzalez on my fantasy collegiate tennis team. So he really showed out.
He earned you some points?
He did. And so it was a snake draft, and I had Gonzalez high on my board. And, you know, ETSU tennis is a true powerhouse. It really is.
Yeah.
Despite the jokes, we have a quality tennis program.
Yeah. Don't need the coach.
Despite embezzling.
Oh, gosh.
It's... Woo!
Took downhill.
We'll skate by that snake draft. I had Robert Herrera going number 2. We'll move on to the most important thing here in this first 5 minutes. Randy Sanders' investigation concluded on April 7th. This suspension came after Sanders reportedly struck a player on the helmet after a drill during practice. This is a statement from him after the situation concluded. It says, "Last week I responded to a situation with poor judgment towards the end of practice. I immediately apologized to the player directly involved and to my team and contacted my athletic director to explain everything that happened," Sanders said in a statement. "Since that time, I've cooperated freely and fully with the university and its review of the situation. I accept the decision by the university and recognize through my role I have an obligation to lead by example." So, Paul, you've been a football player.
Yeah.
And you've probably experienced getting smacked on the helmet at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Do you think, first of all, is it embarrassing to be, called out in front of everybody? Is it weird? What are some of your feelings?
It kind of depends on the situation. Which, if he took that link to go to Scott and talk to him, it had to be more than just like a little slap on the helmet, or it had to be like in a demeanor, I guess.
Yeah.
But he took that situation, so I think ETSU did the right thing by giving him that suspension and then bringing him back.
Yeah.
But as a player, I don't know. It's just kind of, you got to talk to him. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that will do it for the opening segment. We'll come back and talk about the NBA regular season right after this on After the Whistle. Welcome back into After the Whistle. We're talking about the NBA regular season recap. I promise I won't get tongue-tied like I did on the last commercial
NBA,
break.
NBA.
NBA, it's the same thing. So let's start in the Eastern Conference here. We'll kind of do a rundown of the conference standings. We'll start with the number 1 seed Toronto Raptors finishing 59-23, 40-12 in the conference, 34-7 at home. I mean, they have defended their home turf well. Boston coming in at number 2, 55-27. Philadelphia, the 3rd seed, highest seed since the 2000-2001 season when they went to the NBA Finals, and they got destroyed by the Lakers.
Yes, they
Not a good time. Cleveland, 4 seed, 5 seed Indiana, 6 seed Miami, 7 Milwaukee, and rounding out the final seed is Washington, number 8. Some teams that missed out include the Bulls. I'm sorry, apologize. You are wearing the shirt. Orlando and New York. Let's move on to the Western Conference. Houston took the number 1 overall seed, 65-7 team, also 34-7 at home. Golden State, number 2 seed, 58-24. Portland, 3 seed. Oklahoma City, 4 seed. Utah, 5. The Pelicans coming in at 6. The Spurs at 7. And the Timberwolves making the playoffs for the first time in over a decade, rounding out the 8th seed. Nice.
That was a nice one.
So let's start with the Eastern Conference. Biggest surprise from the Eastern Conference?
The Sixers.
The Sixers?
I would give it to the Sixers. With the injury problems they've had, Ben Simmons, of course, now he's healthy, looking like a shoe-in for Rookie of the Year. I didn't expect them to be a 3 seed.
Yeah.
Saw them making the playoffs, maybe a 7, maybe an 8. Here they are, 3 seed.
Yeah. Are you surprised it took him this long to get back to the playoffs, or did you think that they might take longer to get back?
I'm a little surprised, but you have to factor in the injuries that did happen in the process. So
you got to trust it. You got to trust it.
And they did. And here they are. And so for me, that's got to be the biggest surprise.
Yeah. But see, that's what happens when you trust the process. So, Paul, any takeaways from the Eastern Conference this year?
I have 2.
2? Ooh.
I have 2.
You have the floor.
First is the Cavs trading away their entire team.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why they didn't let those guys try to figure it out. They were all veterans, so I don't know. But they finished 4th. And then the Celtics, being so young, and continuing to progress as Kyrie gets hurt and he's back, and then they have all these injuries. So I find those 2 very
surprising. Yeah. I mean, the Celtics have dealt with a lot of injuries. My 2 takeaways from this season, of course, you already basically said one of mine with the 76ers making it to the playoffs for the first time in 6-7 years when they beat the Bulls in that first round. And then another surprise for me, the Cavs were pretty surprising. They finished 4th in the conference standings. I do understand, though, that they had injuries. They had poor play at times, which really nagged them on. They're the usual favorites. I mean, any LeBron James playing. I'm getting tongue-tied.
Any LeBron
James team. Yeah, I'm having a little trouble tonight. Trouble starting.
They have a great chance.
Yeah.
This is how flustered you're getting from the Cavs finishing in a
exactly.
position.
Exactly.
As someone who
is
a big LeBron James supporter, he's not used to this. Even when he's got bad teams, he can lift them to a top 3 seed.
Yeah.
This has just been really bad season.
No one's stepping up with him.
Yeah.
Like, at that point not talking last night. But
Yeah. I mean, LeBron is so nice that he goes out and buys his entire team suits.
2.
Yeah.
He might done a 3rd.
He-
we haven't gotten to that point
I mean,
yet.
he's got enough
He's
money
done
to buy
2,
like
yeah.
10.
I mean,
and-
it's starting to feel like 05 Cavaliers.
Is that the one with the pictures?
Yeah.
The
Well, listen, this is starting to feel like sometimes when he's out there that the players with him are Delonte West,
pictures? Oh, okay.
Anthony Parker, guys you don't remember. A 64-year-old Antoine Jameson.
Daniel,
That's what it's starting to feel
was
like.
Daniel Gibson on that team?
He was on a couple of
He
them.
was on a couple of them?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
definitely drafted him yesterday in 2K. It's kind of weird.
And talking about 2K now. We're also sponsored by 2K. Let's move on to the Western Conference. What's the biggest takeaways from the Western Conference this season?
During the regular season, I think the Portland Trailblazers finishing 3rd. These 3 seeds are shocking.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking about before the show started with you guys. Who would have imagined after the mass exodus in Portland 2 years ago that they would be sitting at a 3 seed with Damian Lillard flanked by some Europeans, and here they are now, a 3 seed.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We'll get to what happened to Portland here in the next segment or the segment after. Paul, any takeaways from the Western Conference this year?
The Rockets, man.
Yeah.
The Rockets, they only lost like 7 games with Chris Paul, Capella, and James Harden playing, which I think they can keep it up, and they might if James Harden doesn't choke.
Yeah, he's been known to.
Hopefully he doesn't.
bit.
Hopefully he doesn't. If he doesn't choke, they might be. I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but they might be the NBA champions.
Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll get to make
That
those predictions
question will be
shortly.
asked, I'm sure.
Yes. I think my biggest takeaway is not really a big surprise, but Golden State not finishing first. That, of course, kind of the same thing that happened with Cleveland. They've had a lot of injuries.
some injuries.
They've struggled this year at times. So moving on to the regular season awards, let's start with the Eastern Conference MVP. My pick from the New Orleans Pelicans, Anthony Davis, averaging 28 points per game, 11 rebounds per game.
Can I correct you?
Okay.
You said Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
He's in the.
He is not in
He's
the
not in
Eastern
the East.
Conference.
He's
Oh,
in the
is he
West.
not?
He's in the West.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on After the Whistle. Now, listen, I get confused on my players.
Listen, does it
you know.
make sense that New Orleans would be in the West?
No,
this is
it doesn't.
a question that I've asked.
It doesn't.
As you know, the Southeastern Conference includes Louisiana State University. What's the difference between that and New Orleans?
Let me change my pick here. Going to go easy and go LeBron James.
Boom. Eastern
Should I let
Conference.
you keep going?
Yeah.
I should have let you keep going.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm glad you corrected me from my terrible mistake. You'd think I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. So, well, after that blunder, Austin, who's your Eastern Conference MVP
Well, I'm
pick?
going to go with the guy who actually plays in the Eastern Conference, LeBron James. And he's going to edge out Giannis Antetokounmpo barely, in my opinion, just because he, I think, is valued by the team more in Cleveland, even still after they're finishing as a 4 seed. But the things Giannis is doing at 7 foot plus, he's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm physically scared to watch games sometimes.
Paul, real quick, who's your
I
Eastern Conference
have to
MVP?
agree with Austin, man. It's LeBron.
Yeah.
He's carried this team. He played every game this year.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's the first time he's ever done that in his career.
Yeah. Pretty
Which-
unbelievable.
He's carrying this awful team to the playoffs and hopefully,
Potentially an NBA Finals
yeah,
appearance.
hopefully.
All right, Western Conference MVP. I'm going to get it right this time. Donovan Mitchell. He is my Western Conference MVP and Rookie of the Year.
That is
20 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per
That's a
game
stretch.
averaging.
It is a stretch.
That's a stretch.
That's a hot take.
It
That
is.
is.
All right, real quick, we'll sneak in your Western Conference MVP.
Well, I want to flip this table over, but I'm not going to. So mine would be your Eastern Conference MVP, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Guy's a double-double machine. Kind of guy that can get a triple-double with blocks. You
Yeah.
don't see many of those. He is one of the hardest working guys on the court at all times. and is one of the few guys in the NBA that can single-handedly propel his team to win 50 games in a season. So AD, I mean, of course, Harden had a great year. Westbrook had a terrific year. KD is always going to be playing good. But for this season, with the position they've put themselves in, I've got to go with Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Paul, Western Conference MVP.
Man, James Harden. I want to say Russell because he got a triple-double again, which is amazing. But James Harden, man.
How hard is it to rebound in the NBA?
How hard is it to rebound in the NBA? Oh, you can ask that for Anthony Davis because you said he's a double-double
he is.
machine,
He
so he
reels
has to
them
get
in.
the.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Not a lot
But-
of competition.
James Harden, man.
James Harden. I like that pick. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to start with our playoff recap here in the Eastern Conference playoffs. We'll be right back right here on After the Whistle. Welcome back into After the Whistle. I've done a little bit more research since we took a break. Figured out that the Pelicans are in the Western Conference and not the Eastern Conference. But we're going to move on to the Eastern Conference playoffs. We're going to start with the Toronto Raptors, the number 1 seed, taking on the number 8 seed Washington Wizards. The series is currently tied at 2-2. I'll go a little bit of a game recap here, game-by-game recap. Toronto took game 1, 14-106. Serge Ibaka, 23 points, and DeLon Wright scored 11 in the fourth quarter to help the Raptors snap a 10-game losing streak in playoff series opener. Some more games here. Game 2, the Raptors took game 2 as well. DeRozan exploded to tie his career playoff high of 37. Game 3, Wizards took it back. John Wall and Bradley Beal, they rolled in game 3. Combined for 56 points, to have a 19-point victory over the Raptors. And in Game 4, just happened the other night, strong fourth quarter from John Wall propelled the Wizards to even the series at 2. So, let's dive into this series a little bit. The Wizards trying to be the 8th seed, trying to pull the upset against the Raptors. I think there's only been like 5 or 6 8 seeds in NBA history to beat a 1 seed. Is it possible that the Wizards could pull the upset?
Definitely. I mean, Toronto, their postseason woes are noted
Always.
Yeah.
in large.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So is it going to surprise me? Not at all. The discrepancy among talent between both the Eastern and Western Conference this year is about as little as I've ever seen. The talent gap is so close.
Yeah.
The Wizards, especially when I've been watching games in this series, they don't feel like an 8 seed. I don't feel like I'm watching the 1 versus the 8.
No.
It doesn't feel like watching Golden State beat up on, the teams they were in the past 5-6 years in the first round. And with that being said, the Wizards, with the way Bradley Beal is playing right now, this team's capable of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they could find themselves, if they get out of this first round, potentially looking at a bid in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow. I mean, I agree with you. I think that they are a really good team. I think this is not a very favorable matchup for Toronto, especially now that the Wizards are starting to kind of come together. I mean, Bradley Beal,
It's like
John
they're-
Wall playing
It's like
well.
they're getting along.
Yeah.
They always have those locker room arguments and stuff that somehow end up on social media or something. But it's like they're finally getting it together.
Yeah. Paul, do you think that the Wizards can take Toronto to a Game 7?
I think they can, but I don't think they're going to win. So I believe Toronto's going to pull it off. I think Toronto this might be their year this year.
Yeah.
Finally get everything together.
Yeah. If it comes down to a Game 7 in Toronto, and we know about Toronto's playoff woes at home, do the Wizards have a chance?
No.
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 Marcin Gortat, 3-pointer in the corner for the win.
Whoa, I love it.
Game 7. I think if it gets to a Game 7, I think home court goes out the window.
Yeah.
I
Because we
really
know,
do.
I mean, the last couple of years, Toronto in elimination games, they've been at home.
Yeah.
I don't trust them at home.
No.
I would trust Washington. I would put like $1,000 on the Wizards to win in Game 7 in Toronto.
And that's so sad, especially looking at that regular season home record.
Yeah.
What was 34-7, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
trust it.
Yeah, and
Can't
if,
trust it.
and if that is to happen, where does Toronto go from here? Because it's another playoff appearance where they get bounced early. I mean, do they have a chance to maybe someday make the NBA Finals? We'll see. But moving on to the next matchup, the Boston Celtics 2 seed versus the 7 seed Milwaukee Bucks. This is also tied
that's a good
at
one.
2 apiece. Game 1, Boston and Milwaukee. Remember, Game 1 went to overtime, a wild fourth quarter. Chris Middleton, with 0.5 of a second, hit that three-pointer to send it to overtime. But the Celtics outscored the Bucks 14-8. Moving to Game 2, Jaylen Brown. I mean, he went off 30 points in that game and helped the Celtics pull away in the second half. Game 3, Milwaukee got one back. Chris Middleton, another fine name, and Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 23 and 19 respectively, overwhelmed the Celtics, narrowed the series deficit. In Game 4, very close 2-point victory for Antetokounmpo, who had a tip-in with 5 seconds left, scored 27 points. So let's dive into this one. The Boston Celtics, you know, we talked about it in the segment before. They've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
How are they looking right now against Milwaukee?
Man, they're looking good without Kyrie. Like, they're looking real good. The young guys are carrying them. So that's amazing. From Milwaukee, though, you think at full health they would be destroying this young team, and they're not. I find that kind of crazy when you have a superstar, or we're claiming he's a superstar, Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Which, if he's that superstar, they're supposed to be handling business. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I love Antetokounmpo. I mean, he's a great player. Austin, you know, how do you see this series going?
Well, this was one of 4, actually. I picked 4 lower seeds to win in the first round of the playoffs. This was one of them. Because in the playoffs, you get to a point where star players can win an entire series by themselves. Now, when it starts getting, can they win 2, 3 series by themselves? That's when you start. But that first series is one of the things that you can always see from a star player.
Yeah.
From Boston's perspective, listen, they played without Hayward the whole year, so don't give me that excuse. You know what I mean? They got where they were without Hayward.
Yeah.
Irving going down, it's a big loss, but they still have all-star caliber talent on the court, especially with Al Horford.
Yeah.
And they finished as a 2 seed.
And they finished as, it's not like, you know, Kyrie Irving got hurt and this thing just spiraled out of control.
Yeah,
They were
it could
still,
have,
it
but it
could have,
didn't.
but it didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why I think people are starting to get a little more surprised with these games when the Bucks are, honestly, they're a better team down the stretch of a game than Boston has been in this series.
But I do think Brad Stevens has done a phenomenal job.
Wonderful coach.
Especially with all the injuries and everything that he's had to deal with. So it's going to be a very interesting series to watch. Let's move on to the 3rd seed, Philadelphia 76ers. No one saw this coming this year, taking on the 6th seeded Miami Heat. Philadelphia, one more game, and they are moving on to the second round. A little bit of recap for you. Philadelphia, 27-point victory in Game 1. Ben Simmons dominated, 17 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, nearly had a triple-double. And that time, they had won 17 straight. They lost the next game, 113 to 103. Dwayne Wade turned back the clock. He scored 28 points in Game 3. Philadelphia won 128 to 108. And then in Game 4, Philadelphia took it back 106-102. And then Game 5 is tomorrow at 8 p.m. on TNT. So Philadelphia, they're finally back in the playoffs. They've trusted the process for 20 years, it seems like, and now they are one game away from advancing. You know, the job that Ben Simmons has done, the job that Joel Embiid, I mean, all these guys coming together, just, you know, jump in there, guys. Just give me your all's opinion.
The guy that's really making the difference for me, J.J. Redick.
JJ.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He's been in this league for a long
Yes.
time. He knows how to win. He's won at every level, and he knows what it takes to be a champion. It's one of those things that whenever he was in L.A., he was muddled by Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. He can actually kind of have the ability to be a borderline, not a star player, but a really great player, top player. And he's one of the guys that down the stretch of a game you're wanting on your team. And he's been the difference for me.
That's like D-Wade hit a post-up spin, and he hit his little signature shot, and they came down. JJ hit a 3 to like shut it up.
He's ice
and that's
cold.
when it was. I think that's when they hit the 106 mark.
Yeah.
And it was 102, 106. So that he's big time. big
Yeah.
time. I think he's a big difference.
He's definitely been a big help. So I really see this series coming down to the wire. I think that Miami will get one back, but I think Philadelphia can close it out in 6. If not, though, it'll be a very, very awesome Game
This was
7.
one of the ones that I picked, the lower seed. I thought, the Heat have got what it takes. We've seen the emergence of Ben Simmons in these playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's looking like Philadelphia's going to take this one.
It's like the best year for rookies in the playoffs.
It's been best year for
They're
playoffs.
all playing
man.
good ball.
Definitely. The rookies have taken over.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very interesting. Let's move on to the final matchup here in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Everyone's favorite series, LeBron versus Lance Stevenson. The 4-seeded Cavaliers taking on the 5-seeded Pacers. This series is also tied at 2 apiece. Well, let's go a little bit back into Game 1. A lot of people were surprised. The Pacers ran over the Cavs in Game 1. Victor Oladipo, 32 points. And LeBron James and company tried to charge late. And this is the first time LeBron James, a team that he's played on, has lost Game 1 in the first round in 8 years. So it's been a while, ever since.
That's the last time he didn't go to the finals, right?
I think
He's
so.
been 8
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah, he's been 8 straight years,
8
so
straight,
it would have
yeah.
been the first year they
Yeah.
Those
went.
Delonte West teams I was pointing to earlier.
Yes. Game 2, the Cavaliers snuck one by, won 197. LeBron James, he put on a heck of a performance. 46 points, grabbed 12 boards, guided them to a 3-point victory. Game 3, a lot of people thought that Indiana took this one from Cleveland. Bojan Bogdanovic, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
It is.
Good job. Game 3, 30-point performance. He was rolling in the fourth quarter. He helped the Pacers get back from a 17-point deficit and stun the Cavs. Nobody saw that coming. And then in Game 4, which occurred last night, Cleveland took a 4-point win, 104-100. I really thought, as the whole Lance Stevenson thing happened, where they had that toss-up, I think it was a technical foul called. I thought the Cavs were fixing to pull a 95 New York Knicks, where they gave up 8 points to Reggie Miller in the final 9 seconds. So I really thought that was going to happen, but Cleveland, luckily for them, pulled it out. And of course, Game 5 Wednesday, Indiana travels back to Cleveland. Wednesday at 7 on TNT. Now, with this being said, that Indiana, with them not winning 2 at home, is it impossible for them to win the series now that they have to go back to Cleveland for Game 5?
I think so, because they gave LeBron confidence. Well, they didn't give LeBron confidence. They gave his teammates confidence.
Yeah.
Like, you got Kyle Korver stepping up. J.R. Smith is finally hitting some shots. Kevin Love hit some shots. Like, you're finally getting the role players involved. So it might be impossible, because LeBron's not about to let them lose. So.
Yeah. What do you think, Austin? Do you think that now that it's back at Cleveland, it's just it just feels like the series momentum has shifted over to Cleveland?
They could be playing these games in Chicago, for all I care. LeBron's not losing this series.
Yeah.
And I say LeBron because it's more than just the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Korver went off last night.
He did.
He was
did.
playing fantastic. And I just think this Cavalier team has too much experience. Oladipo's been great this year.
Yeah.
Definitely the most improved player in the whole NBA this season. But Lance Stevenson's still Lance Stevenson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
The best troll in the business.
he is. And that dunk he threw down, what was it, Game 3, was vicious. And I was like, man, this guy does have something to back up all the
talk,
talking he
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And he's a heck of a defender, but LeBron.
Yeah.
Give me LeBron 7 out of 7 times.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson is so well known for getting in the heads of many players. He's like a modern day Ron Artest, to be honest with you. But I just think that this is another, if Indiana cannot close this out against LeBron, I don't think they'll ever be able to beat LeBron. It's their Achilles heel. It's exactly like Reggie Miller and the New York Knicks. So it's going to be interesting to see going down the stretch. Game 5 is going to be really exciting to watch coming on Wednesday. Well, I think that'll do it for this segment. When we come back, we will get into the Western Conference playoffs, talk about all the exciting stuff right after this break on After the Whistle. Welcome back into After the Whistle. We're talking about the NBA playoffs, and we just got done talking about the Eastern Conference. Let's move on to the Western Conference side of things here. We'll start with the Houston Rockets, #1 seed, taking on the 8-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. Welcome back to the playoffs, Minnesota. We've missed you. It's been quite a while since they've been back in. We'll do a little bit of recap. Houston currently leads the series 2-1 right now. In game one, it was a very close one. The Rockets, with James Harden, scored 44 points. They outlasted the Timberwolves. It went down to the final minute. It was a very exciting game one. Game two, Houston, 20-point victory over Minnesota. Chris Paul, I mean, he's just rolling. 27 points. Gerald Green came off the bench. He added 21. The Rockets cruised to a 20-point victory. Took a commanding 2-0 series lead. But Minnesota did get game three back. They won 121-105. Karl Anthony Towns finally got going. He scored 18 points, grabbed 16 boards. And Jimmy Butler scored 28 points. I mean, he was a huge part of that win. So this is another intriguing matchup. You know, Houston has not been known to be very good in the playoffs. They've it's been their Achilles heel over the past couple of years. This is a series that I don't really see Minnesota challenging them that much. Do you all think that if Minnesota can win tonight, that they could potentially make this a series?
I don't believe so. I think the Rockets.
Houston's are your pick for the NBA title.
I don't think so. I think, Jimmy Butler adds to the Timberwolves, but what has Wiggins been doing? You know.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have enough firepower to fire back at the Rockets.
Yeah. I mean, I think Houston's just playing really great. Austin, what do you think?
I gotta agree. You know, the T-Wolves are playing good. They are, and they're one of those. They're like Milwaukee. They're like Philadelphia. They're one of those bright young sparks that I can see really making a name for themselves over the next few seasons. But I could see them winning another game. I could, and I think that really will have an adverse effect on Houston.
Yeah.
I think Houston would still win the series ultimately, but I just think if the Wolves grab another one, force a game 6, I mean, then you got to put more effort into a series that you probably should have been out of sooner.
Yeah. I mean, if they win tonight, they're guaranteed one more home game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they can somehow win a game 5 in Houston, I mean, all bets are off as what could happen. So, and of course, you know, like we just said, you know, Houston, their Achilles heel is trying to get to the NBA title. So it's going to be, I just went British there.
Yeah,
NBA title. But I think that I give the edge to Houston, but we'll get to my opinion on the Rockets a little bit later. Let's move on to the 2-seed Golden State Warriors taking on the 7-seed in San Antonio Spurs, of course. Some tragic news. Greg Popovich's wife, Erin Popovich, passed away a couple days ago. Very unfortunate for their family. I mean, the Spurs, they weren't playing that well to start with, and, you know, just with that happening, it was a very tough situation to deal with. You know, your coach and somebody that, you know, his wife, it's always around the team. Not being there anymore, that's definitely got to have a tough effect on the Spurs. In game 1, Golden State got a huge victory over the Spurs. Kevin Durant, I mean, he's just been a huge part of this series. Game 1, game 2, game 3, and pretty much game 4. I mean, you know, Durant has been all over the place. Golden State looked like they were going to sweep, but the Spurs managed to get a win, 103-90 in game 4. Then they play tomorrow night at 10:30 on TNT. So, any chance the Spurs get back into this series?
Not at all.
It's
Is it over?
It's over. I don't think this one ever really had a chance because, you know, the Timberwolves, in my opinion, are a better team than the Spurs are.
Yeah.
So this was kind of, you know, the Warriors are the 2-seed, but, you know, did they win who they had to play?
Yeah.
When your average, you know, like team roster is about 39, and that's with Kawhi and Bryn Forbes' age bringing you down.
Yeah.
It's just not a recipe for winning. Manu has played really well this series.
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili, you know, I saw Tony Parker's been playing like 15 minutes a game. Manu can still go 35-plus minutes a game.
I mean, he scored 16 in the fourth quarter in game 4.
Yeah, he was, and Pau Gasol also was a guy who's playing phenomenally for a guy in this situation. I don't think they're going to win another one. I think that was, a good win for the organization. Needed that win. I would have hated to have seen him got swept,
Yes, yeah.
especially right after the tragedy of Pop's wife passing.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for the organization, and honestly, I'm sure the Warriors really didn't mind losing.
Yeah. Now, Paul, how big of an upset would it be for San Antonio to go to Golden State and win Game 5? I mean, they're on the road in one of the toughest environments in the NBA. For them to win a Game 5 with their backs against the wall, how big would that be?
It would be. I don't think it would be big for the Spurs, but I don't think the Warriors would care for it.
Yeah.
I think it would be just get to another game and they'll win that one.
Do you think it would phase them at all?
I don't think so.
Even if they had to go back to San Antonio?
I think they're very composed, so
Yeah.
I don't think it'll phase them at all.
Yeah.
But I think it's about time LaMarcus Aldridge leaves the Spurs.
2 seasons?
I'm
2 seasons
I'm
worn out
just
as
saying.
well.
I think it's about time. to
2
leave.
seasons of
He's took
LaMarcus. Just see, guys.
but he kind of went down stats wise.
It's just sad to watch LaMarcus Aldridge. You see what he's capable of,
Yes.
flashes of it in games, and you're like, this is the guy that Portland drafted in the first round to say this is the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land.
Yeah.
And now he's wasting away at San Antonio.
Yes. That's what yes.
I mean, it's I don't know. I think the wheels are falling off at San Antonio. I think
Yeah.
their time as a dynasty has completely come to a close here. They've passed the torch on to Golden State, to possibly Houston,
Yeah.
who seems to be like they could be in this signing Paul George maybe in the summer for Houston, and
Yeah.
on San Antonio, it's been a good run, but I think this is the year where we go, it's over.
Yeah, I mean
So-
they've been around for almost 20 years as one of the most consistent teams in the NBA, and I agree with you. I think that they're getting ready to hit a roadblock.
How much longer do you think Pop has?
On the earth or as a coach?
Coach.
All right, I just wanted to make
Coach,
sure.
I'm not.
I just wanted
As a
to
coach.
clarify things.
How many years do you think he has left?
I don't know. Depending on how things go, I mean, he seems, he's one of the greatest coaches, I think it's fair to say, of all time.
Yeah,
Because you look at it, they're not signing these all-star free agents. They built the team they had from the ground up with Tony Parker, with Manu, with Tim Duncan. It was just a massive, massive organization working together.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think maybe 5 at the most, probably less though.
Okay.
how long do you give him?
Depends on if Kawhi stays.
Yeah, I think that's a huge
It
part.
depends on that. So I'll say about 3.
I give him about 3 years
About 3.
too. Let's move on to the 3-seed Portland Trailblazers. They got swept by the Pelicans.
That was ugly.
I mean, there's really not much to say. The Pelicans, they made the quick shift from the Eastern to Western Conference in the playoffs.
Yeah, the
And
short span.
they decided to destroy the Trailblazers, move on to the second round. They await the winner of Golden State and San Antonio, so they'll more than likely
They
get
play
Golden
Golden
State.
State,
So
yeah.
real quick, so we can get to the Oklahoma City Thunder and Utah Jazz matchup, just give me a quick thought on this series.
Anthony Davis is a top 5 player in the NBA.
I agree. I completely agree.
Bottom line, healthy. I think if he's healthy, I think he's a top 3. If he stays healthy all the time. Freak of nature like Giannis Antetokounmpo, guy that can stretch the floor more than anybody maybe we've ever seen before with his ability inside, outside, mid-range. And this is another one of those that he honestly single-handedly won them this series.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday was awesome,
Yeah.
was incredible,
Yeah.
and is a guy who's finally showing what he's got, his full potential. If they keep winning like this, they could give Golden State fits in the second round. And
Yeah.
this is without Boogie.
Interesting.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, in Game 4, Holiday and Davis scored a combined 88 points. I mean, and Anthony Davis had 33 of those points in the second half, so very impressive job by the Pelicans to move on. They will pretty much will face Golden State next round, almost guaranteed. So finally, moving on to the final matchup, number 4 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the 5 seed Utah Jazz. Utah leads the series 2-1. They face off against each other tonight, 10:30. You all going to stay up for that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to.
It's a great series.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
It's a fun one to watch.
Donovan Mitchell meets Russell Westbrook. These two guys kind of remind me of each other a little bit.
They
I mean,
do.
Donovan Mitchell has really come on strong. He's my rookie of the year, in my
He
opinion.
is. He is. He's your MVP.
Yeah, he's my MVP
He's your
and
Western
rookie of the
Conference
year.
MVP. I mean, listen, we're saying Donovan Mitchell versus Russell Westbrook.
Ricky Rubio.
Who had a triple-double last game?
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio.
It wasn't Westbrook. It wasn't Mitchell. It was Ricky the Spaniard Rubio.
26, 11, and 10.
Riding his Vespa to the arena, hair flowing in the wind. He came in and he said, "This is the night." Ricky Rubio has been, like, historically one of the worst jump shooters
Yeah.
as a point guard in NBA history.
Yeah.
Abysmal shooting percentage. If this guy has suddenly found,
The jump shot.
the lucky stone of Madrid, this guy could potentially start running wild. I remember playing with him in 2K, one of our sponsors,
Yeah.
and was just absolutely atrocious.
He was like 73 overall.
Oh God, yeah, and it's all passing statistics because the dude can drop dimes like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But he
But
can't shoot.
listen, and Donovan Mitchell is now a plus to Ricky Rubio.
Yeah. But Russell Westbrook did say he's going to shut that down tonight.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. I can't wait to
will-
see it.
Will he? Do you think he will?
I
don't
think he
know.
will.
But to keep Paul George, they gotta win this series.
Yeah, definitely.
And Carmelo, who's that guy?
Carmelo,
Ship him out.
he's overrated. His
Ship
time
him
is
out.
his time is done. So my personal opinion of this series, I'm a Thunder fan. I'd like to see OKC advance, but to see the Jazz finally, kind of make a playoff run, it kind of bring back some, nostalgia of Karl Malone and John Stockton. Good times.
How about the uniforms? I think it's the uniforms.
I think they honestly should make a return back to the '90s uniforms, just for like a couple games.
Oh.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, we're going to make predictions when we come back. I can't wait to see who you guys
Spicy.
have. I already know you're NBA champions. So, when we come back to the After the Whistle, we'll talk about who we think is going to win the NBA championship. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here on After the Whistle. Welcome back into After the Whistle. You see I have my pen that I've been holding for about 45 minutes. It's time for predictions. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. Toronto, Washington. It's 2-2 right now. Do the Wizards make a comeback?
I'm going first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll start with Paul Hunter.
We go with Raptors.
Raptors? Okay, let me write down the Raptors. What are the Raptors? Do they win it in 6? Do they win it in 5?
They might
Well,
go
they can't win it in 5, but can they win it in 6 or 7?
7.
7? Raptors in 7. So you do trust them at home?
I'm gonna put faith in them.
Okay. All right. Mr. Austin?
Raptors. Give me Raptors in 6.
Raptors in 6.
Yeah, because if they get to 7, they're not going to win. So they're going to go ahead and finish it in 6. And, they're still a heck of a ball club.
Yeah.
Lowry, DeRozan, 2 All-Stars in their own right.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Totally off topic.
Okay.
Love the old Raptors jerseys. We talked
Right.
about jerseys in the last break. I mean,
What about
that.
the
The one-
Drake jerseys?
I like the Drake.
Yeah,
I
the
like-
Drake jerseys are
they
nice.
They were having a fit. Some people didn't like them.
Yeah, I know.
I like the Drake
Well,
jersey.
you got
know
these
what?
guys that are...
People,
It says OVO, doesn't it? Or does it say?
Somewhere on it. It's got the little owl somewhere.
I like it.
people
I
are
like
Drake
it.
haters. So
are.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys.
Oh, man.
Wizards in 7.
Ooh.
Wow, I know. Did you see it coming?
I didn't.
I did not.
Wizards to the
Just to get swept by the Cavs.
yes. It's an easy. It's kind of like the east side of the bracket in the NCAA tournament. It's like just the easiest route
Yeah.
to the NBA Finals. So let's move on to the 4 and 5 seed, the Cavs, the Pacers. Paul.
I got the Cavs, man. I got LeBron all the way going to his 9th straight.
Yeah.
9th, yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, you're jumping ahead of us.
I'm
bro.
jumping all
Cavs-
the way
Hey,
ahead.
Cavs in
save
6?
some of the...
Taking them all the way.
Yeah. So
I'ma
we
save it.
got more time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save it. I'm so sorry, guys.
What are you,
I'm so sorry.
Cavs in 6?
Cavs and 6.
Okay. How about Austin? What do you-
Cavs in 6.
Cavs in 6. Beautiful.
It's an easy pick for me.
Yep, I got the same thing. Cavs in 6. So let's move to the other side of the bracket. The Philadelphia 76ers looking to win their first playoff series since they beat the Bulls back in 2010-2011 season, taking on the Miami Heat. 76ers, they've trusted the process for a long time. Austin, we'll start with you this time.
I have Philadelphia, but in 7.
In 7, okay.
I do, because I think Embiid, I think right now he's in a really weird place as far as the scrutiny he receives for how he acts, as well as how he feels about some of the leadership in the organization. His Instagram post about being babied.
Yeah.
I think that could catch up to him. And I still, listen, D Wade, if he can find his stride like he did scoring 28, I think they can win a couple more.
Interesting. Paul?
I got, when do they play next?
They play, I believe,
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow
night.
TNT?
Yeah, it's over tomorrow night.
It's over tomorrow night.
It's over tomorrow night.
At home.
Philly in 5.
Yes.
Okay. I'll agree with you. I think Philly will close it out tomorrow night. It's going to be very fun to watch. The next.
I didn't know he posted. Was that after the game? He posted something
It
about
was
being baby.
after game 2 when they wasn't playing.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
when Miami won.
Okay. And then that's when he wanted to play.
And then he started game 3
And they won.
with that mask.
Yeah. He threw it off too.
Yeah, and then it was stepped on.
Oh man, that's not good. So let's move on to Boston and Milwaukee. Do the Bucks have any chance to beat the Celtics?
They don't just have a chance, they're going to do it.
They're going to do it. All right.
They're going to do it.
All right.
In 7,
Okay.
I like Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Paul,
It's going to game 7.
Going
It's
to
going.
game-
It's going to 7.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Man.
Who do you got?
See, I don't think Antetokounmpo's that star yet. He's shining, but not yet. I'm going with the Celtics.
Celtics, okay.
Celtics.
Celtics in 7?
7.
Yeah, there we go.
It's going to 7.
Brandon, you'll love this pick. Boston in 6.
Ooh.
They're going to close it out.
Back to
They're
back.
going
That's
to back-to-back wins.
disgusting.
Oh, man. We're going to stay in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to go ahead and say the Cavs are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals in 4. You all have the Raptors and the Cavs in the second round. I chose the Wizards and to get swept. But Paul, we'll start with you. Raptors, can they finally get over the
I think I
LeBron
lied a
hump?
little bit earlier, man, because I think they might get over LeBron this year.
Okay.
They might.
Does it take 7 games to get over LeBron?
Do they
That-
actually
that-
get over
that-
LeBron,
that
or do they just have the
depends.
capability?
Yeah.
They have the capability. But that depends on if LeBron's role players step up or not. I hope they don't. I'm going with Raptors.
Raptors, okay.
Raptors in 6.
Raptors in 6. Wow. That is very interesting.
Cavs in 4.
Cavs in 4, sweeping the dinosaurs.
Oh, because they're going to be riding this high. We've taken down the mighty Washington Wizards in 7 games. They're, beating them up, heading into Cleveland, saying these guys, the Pacers gave them fits. We got, and then just done.
They're just gonna get stomped.
gone.
It's
Don't even
interesting.
hear the gun go off.
Let's go to the other side of the bracket here. Philly taking on Boston for me and Paul, and Austin, Philly, and the Bucks. We'll start with you since you got the Bucks.
This is a tough one because honestly, I don't feel like either of these teams are worthy of playing in an Eastern Conference final. But I would give it to Philadelphia.
Philly, you're
The
throwing Philly the
talent,
bone?
yeah, the
Okay.
talent that Philadelphia has, I think, is they have so much raw talent, and
Yeah.
the playoff experience is not there per se, but it's not there for Milwaukee either. So it's not like Milwaukee has that advantage.
Yeah.
So give me Philadelphia to play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Wow.
Who would have said? Is it 05?
Yeah,
Is it
seriously.
2005 again? Is Andre Iguodala playing for the Sixers? I don't know.
Man.
Who knows?
All right, real quick, Paul, who do you got, Philly or Boston?
Oh, man. I got Philly.
Philly?
I got Philly. Philly and
Philly?
I think they'll take them to 7.
Philly in 7. Who you got?
I got
6?
7.
7?
7
Okay.
games.
Give me
got
Boston
7.
in 7.
Tell me Philadelphia, Milwaukee, 7 games wouldn't be a fun.
That would be a fun
That'd be
series.
a fun series to watch.
Definitely. And then finally, Eastern Conference Finals. I got Cavs and Boston in there. Cavs in 5 to make it to the NBA Finals.
Ooh.
All right, Raptors and Philly.
I got Philly beating the Raptors.
Ooh, all right.
6.
Philly
6.
in
Oh, you're
6.
everywhere
So
today.
trust the
out there.
process.
You are
We're trusting the
everywhere
process
today.
all the way. all the way.
Cavs make it 11 straight wins in the playoffs, sweep them in 4.
Oh, man.
Take Philadelphia to the woodshed.
I agree. I don't think.
Listen,
I think if Philly went to the
It's
Eastern Conference
so
Finals.
funny that we're having these discussions about Cleveland, and they're just going to wind up right back in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
More than likely.
Yeah. Let's switch gears to the Western Conference. Starting here, we'll kind of run through these real quick. Houston, Minnesota.
I got the Rockets in, would it be 5?
Yep.
Yeah, 5. I got the Rockets at 5. They're going to win back-to-back.
Houston in 5. Austin.
Give me Houston in 6.
Houston in 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Houston in 5.
It's like this side of the bracket makes way more sense than
Right?
that side.
Oh, yeah.
Way more.
Till you get down to that sweep.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Davis put on the
Yeah.
Trailblazers.
All right. Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz taking on Westbrook and the Thunder.
Ricky Rubio and the Jazz. taking
Oh,
on
yes.
Russell
Vespa
Westbrook.
man.
Give me Jazz in 6.
Jazz in 6. Okay.
Yes.
Paul?
Man, I think the Thunder are going to win 3 back-to-back-to-back games.
Ooh, man. So Thunder in 6.
Yeah.
Give me Thunder in 7. It's going to be coming down to the final
Game.
buzzer beater.
Is it
Westbrook.
Rubio? Is that? Do you not have faith Rubio can repeat
Listen,
the performance?
Rubio in a Vespa is amazing, but I can't trust it.
in the hair. I mean,
Just can't
just
trust the hair.
riding through the
They have
streets
to
of
win tonight, though.
Barcelona.
They have to win tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's tonight.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
tonight?
Sure.
Yeah, it is tonight,
Give me
10:30.
Portland.
Portland over the Pelicans. Okay, Golden State and the Spurs. Probably going to go ahead and be safe to write down the Warriors for all 3 of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 5.
In 5 for all of us, I
In 5
assume.
for all of us.
Yeah.
Do you have them?
No
Okay,
chance. No
okay.
chance.
They're not about to, no.
So we'll start. We'll stay on this side. Pelicans, Warriors. Pelicans even win?
Is
a game?
Steph yet? Is Steph back yet?
Not yet.
So what game
Will he be
will
back?
he be back?
Will
'Cause
probably not.
I'm saying if it's
If it's close, he's going to be back.
Yeah.
give me, I'll go ahead and start us here.
Because
Give me Golden State in 6
Golden State in 6. Okay.
because I think Anthony Davis by himself can win one of those games. in
Didn't
New
he beat him
Orleans.
once?
He did.
By himself, he beat him
Yeah,
once.
he did.
Now, if Drew Holiday and Rondo continue to play,
Rondo, one of the most underrated, maybe of all time.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated NBA players of all time, in my opinion.
man, I don't think they're going to upset him, but I think it's going to be closer than what people think.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go Warriors in 7, and I don't even think I said Warriors, but it's okay.
Warriors
Yeah,
in 7. Interesting.
7.
Warriors in 5. Same result.
Give him a win.
Yeah. Pelicans. I mean, Anthony Davis, great player. Love the guy. Awesome dude. No
Would
chance
it be
against
different
the
if
Warriors.
Boogie was there?
It would be a game difference. I think they would still. I think Golden State would win in 6, but I think without Boogie being there, not really much difference. So this is kind of a confusing part here. Austin, you got Houston and the Jazz playing. Does Ricky Rubio and the Jazz scoot to the NBA?
This is hard
Finals?
because what I said in my scenario here will have taken place. Minnesota will have won a second game and made Houston play that extra game. Granted, Utah will have been battle tested at this point, playing the tough series with Oklahoma City. But Houston's played so well this year.
Yeah.
So give me the Jazz in 7 games.
Not so fast, my friend. The Jazz in 7. All
Give
right.
me a Ricky Rubio 3
No.
at the buzzer in Houston,
to break the heart
shattering the hearts.
of all Rockets fans.
And that's going to be, the next day on the phone call, calling Paul George, hey, Ricky Rubio took you out. He took us out. Come here. We'll take Ricky together.
That's right. Okay, so Paul, Houston, and the Thunder. Who you got?
Got the Rockets, man.
The Rockets? Okay.
I think it's gonna go. I don't even think it's gonna go 7. It might go 6.
Gonna go 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if the Rockets are playing the Thunder, which naturally I don't, I think they sweep them. I think
Sweep
the
'em?
Rockets could sweep the Thunder.
They could.
Yeah.
They could, but I feel like Russ would pull 2 out.
I'm just really
I thought
liking
he'll pull
Utah
2.
right now. I got to tell you, I'm living for Utah.
I'm going to go Houston at 6. I think that the Rockets, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, love those guys, but they're not going to win more than 2 games against Houston. So moving on to the conference finals, you're riding high on the Jazz taking on the Golden State Warriors.
Sweep. Get the brims out.
Any chance the Jazz can somehow
They win one game.
One game?
Yeah, give
Okay.
me. Golden State wants to win the series at home, so they'll let them take Game 4 probably. And but Golden State in 5. I mean, they're just so good.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
by that time Curry should probably be back.
Oh,
Should.
definitely.
If he
They
isn't,
might not
then he
even. He might be ready. They might just say, "Listen."
Let's leave him for the finals
Yeah,
so we can
because
beat
we
the
don't
heck
want
out of him.
Ricky to cross him up and break his ankles again.
You love Ricky Rubio.
I
I
am-
love it, man.
He's
I am
Love it.
such a Ricky Rubio fan.
All right, Paul, Rockets, Golden State. Do they pull the upset?
They pull the upset in 7.
In 7, the Rockets in the NBA
In
Finals.
7.
Wow.
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 I'm sticking with it.
Wow.
Because look, it's only because Chris Paul is my favorite player,
Yeah.
and he can't get past the conference finals, or is it the semifinals? It's one of them. He can't get past. He has
You
a
try
curse.
playing with the Hornets for
And
as
the
long as he
Clippers.
did and do
And the-
anything.
Yeah.
We blow a 3-1 lead versus the Rockets, I think.
That was bad.
Yeah, man.
Well, boys,
What do you
about
got?
time we-
Well,
we
let's
bet
hear
that.
it. What's the?
Boys, let it be known that Houston is horrible in these situations. They've always been horrible. They always will be horrible. Golden State in 4, an average of 14-point victories. They will destroy Houston on their way to another NBA Finals appearance. Get out the brooms. The Warriors are sweeping. We'll come back with my hot take and our predictions for the NBA championship right after this break on After the Whistle. Welcome back into After the Whistle. My face is real close to your television. I'm going to go ahead and start with my hot take before we get into who wins the championship. So, looking at hot take over the last couple years, I think the NBA and the NCAA should join together and really prevent players from going into the league after just 1 year. I think that if there's at least a minimum 2 to 3 years before college basketball players can come out of the NCAA and go into the league, I think that would make the competition a lot better. I think it would make it more interesting. I think the NCAA would benefit off of it. I understand why players come out because there's a lot of money to be had in the NBA. But with that being said, more time for players to develop their game against equally good players, the better. So there's my hot take. It's not as extreme. I've been dropping hot takes all across the show. I mean, I've been saying the Pelicans, which, there we go. The Pelicans should be in the Eastern Conference, damn it. What the hell is wrong with the NBA? Who planned that out?
Listen,
Shameful.
we're in the same team here.
Shameful. I did terrible research today. But, oh well, what can you say? So let's move on to our championship matchup here. The Golden State Warriors for Austin taking on the Cavs. Another rematch yet again. Who you got, Austin?
Well, I'm going to keep it short and sweet for you.
Okay.
LeBron James, despite what I'm wearing, is the single greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay.
I mean, only guy he's maybe losing to, Jesus Christ in a 1v1. You know, that's the only guy he's losing to. Out in the streets of Jerusalem, street ball. LeBron wins in 7.
Winning in 7.
Give him to me.
I heard that Jerusalem's got some really nice basketball courts.
They do.
So-
And you've heard of the Jerusalem Cruiser, the line of shoes that they have.
Yeah, the Cruiser 7s, I got like 4 pairs of
Yeah.
those. Black, blue, and gray. Really nice colors, really comfortable.
Yeah, leather, strapped, up the ankle.
Also a sponsor of After the
Yes,
Whistle.
the Jerusalem Cruisers.
All right, Paul, you got one of the weirdest NBA final matchups I think I've ever
The
seen.
worst.
It's gonna happen.
The Rockets versus the 76ers.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. That's how the East is looking.
Primetime television, folks.
Yeah.
That's how the East is looking.
Record low viewing for ESPN, who's already suffering right now
Yeah.
if they get the Rockets versus the 76ers. My God.
That's why we're on the rise, baby.
Yeah, after the whistle coming up, baby. Hire us, ESPN. All right, go ahead. Give it to me.
Hey, man,
Rockets.
I got the
76ers.
Rockets in 5.
Rockets in 5.
Yeah,
Are you
Rockets.
sure you don't want to say Rockets in 4?
I'm good. I'm positive, man.
Okay.
I believe in young Ben Simmons. You know,
Okay.
at least
Ability
get
to win one game.
One. He'll get one.
Yeah. All right, my NBA champion. This is like the 4th, 5th straight year the Golden State Warriors, Cavs have played. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry versus LeBron James,
Don't do it.
Tristan Thompson, a couple of other guys like that. Cavs, no chance. Warriors in 5.
Just wrong.
Warriors in 5. Durant will drop 50 in one of those games. Yeah.
That's why I think Philly's gonna get out there.
Philly, hey,
I think Philly.
let's
man.
set this scenario real quick. Philly versus the Warriors.
Oh, it is. It is.
Oh my goodness
Philly
gracious.
versus Cleveland is a better matchup.
Give me, if Golden State was to play Philadelphia in a finals, average margin of victory of 24 plus.
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
And give me like a game 1 nail biter too, so that it's a really skewed result. Like one of those games is a 54-point loss.
Yeah. All right, so kind of about time for the end of the show, so we're going to go ahead and call all of our crew out here. Honestly, guys, I've had so much fun doing After the Whistle over the past 5 episodes. We've done 5. This is your all's first. I've been around for all of them. It's been a lot of fun. We've talked so much about the NBA. We talked about Randy Sanders. We've talked about ETSU softball. We've talked about the Jazz and their beautiful jerseys. We're joined by a lot of shoes. So we've got the creator of the show,
That's me.
Brandon
for tuning in,
Stevens,
everybody.
Bradley.
Floor
let's
manager
see.
Bradley Shane.
Yes,
Me,
yes.
y'all.
Go ahead and Mason and Carson and Bailey and Grant. Grant has,
Best audio guy ever right
yeah.
here, boys
He's
and
the
girls.
best.
Grant's
gentlemen.
here. Yeah, hold on. I need to borrow those real quick. As far as this show goes, for my man Austin, my man Paul, and all of the great people behind me who made this show possible, I'm Trey Adams signing off for the final time. This has been After the Whistle. We'll see you next year on ESPN2. Bye-bye.